Try to start all correctly. Okay. Oh. Oh, there's a funeral? Oh, wait. A funeral is held for Martin and the LCE researchers today. I thought I'd seen more than my fair share of death throughout my journey with the sinners, but never before had I witnessed this many people. Excuse me. Witnessed this people gather in one place to mourn the deceased together. The unfamiliarity made me feel a bit out of place. Am I doing this right? Most of the sinners seem to be feeling that similar sense of being out of their element as well. Some of them were asking Mersault, apparently the most knowledgeable of them, when it came to funeral process and etiquette, all matters of questions pointers. Expressing respect is their primary purpose. Hand placement and gesture are unimportant, can be accomplished. Hey, where do I put the beneath the third pillar to the right? Can't any of you quit carrying for a second? Have you all forgotten the instruction to carry cells with solemn propriety that befits the occasion? Give me some slack. I haven't been to funerals all that much. I mean, I did tell you to read the manual. I even underlined all the important parts for you. Sorry, Ishii. The wall of text was too much for me to read. My focus started fizzling out from page 30 onwards. Hadn't every sinner here attended a funeral before, back when we set foot in the Grim Manor in T Corp? Ah, thou speakest of the funeral held in young Heathcliff's Manor, thou not? The one bereft of the dead. Bereft of the dead. I mean, someone had to die. Because they wouldn't have been a property dispute big enough to involve the OOF Association notarization otherwise. Said this time and again, but that was an intentional anomaly to prevent family strife. Intentional anomaly, is it? If the situation was these, as I say, they were no helping it, forsooth. There's a pity that the dead wasn't named at their own funeral. The name of the deceased was... It was Catherine's sister. She was very dear to Heathcliff. I have thoroughly reviewed the past 5 years' work of loyal newspapers portraying the matter, yet no such name as... Aye. Soul Black, forsooth. Here's a... Yeah, forsooth. Hello, I started a bit early. Well, they have the event, so I obviously wanted to play it. No such name as blah blah blah. Yes, I am still alive currently, as far as I know. After it's 5 o'clock, at least remember that's good enough, isn't it? It had to be the Golden Burrows influence. Somewhere along the way, everyone's memories of the event at Wuthering Heights had become war. Sarah seems to think the Golden Burrow had always been there in the manner that Nellie was coaxed into stealing it by Herman. Lytton, in their minds, was now a grieving brother who had been conducting research for his dead sister's sake. Nobody questioned it, not okay, not fussed. Your sinner believed the twisted version of the memory as if it was proven fact. Edith and I gave up trying to correct them. Instead, we just check in on each other's memories every now and then. Because if there's something that he and I realized is that anything tied to Catherine had already been painted over. Every detail gilded and glossed over with the glow of the bow. Point is, how do I put this? The circumstances of the funeral didn't exactly leave us much room to properly express our condolences back then. Between Heathcliff running on a rampage and then him the guy bent on interfering with the execution of the will, I assume the sort of implement was pretty common with stuff girls, but apparently not, huh? No, well, I think it's actually rare to see a place that follows proper funeral procedures. I've traveled around quite a bit myself, but I can't confidently say that I've ever been to do a legitimate funeral. The one at Wuthering Heights was one of the more proper funerals, if only for pretending to have a process. He at least prepared a coffin and even had a formal reading of the will. These funerals are far from being an everyday custom in the city. Funerals are considered a rather extravagant practice here as well. Corporations are not eager to grant time off just because an irrelevant someone has died. The price of real estate seldom makes it viable to buy land and erect memorial houses on them. The one other option that people usually have. Usually just leave them where they died, and after one night's sleep the bodies were gone, just like that. Better than paying loads of money to bury them somewhere just to stir up a load of daft rumors, eh? Rumors, rumors about there being valuables buried with bodies or an arm being some fancy prosthetic, all that rot. They'd leave it dead, go in pieces, and then to bury them in the grave just a sod so they're desecrated. Now, yeah, people tend to set up graves if they have enough room to spare, of course. There wasn't guaranteed wouldn't lose the burial by the next restructuring day. Wolfheim scoffed and hung his head. Oh, to his foolishness, all of it. Comforting the soul of the departed, another mendacity. All those funds so carelessly squandered, all for the purpose of furnishing the living with a fragile excuse to cling on. Are those words from his heart or just something said to convince himself? Whichever was the truth, I couldn't see the look on his face when he tucked his head low. The funeral didn't last long. It was the brief moment of silence followed by quick goodbyes that were shorter still. The ceremony came to close once Elisa, who was still in recovery, made her final respects. The flames surrounded the coffins of Marta and the other riches, announcing the end of their existence with the crackle of the fire. So I suppose you'll be leaving now? Oh. We'll stay until Gregor's stable enough to travel. Dante says we'll remain here until Gregor's condition settles. Gregor came to his senses again a few days ago after his unforeseen metamorphosis. In the battle against the Thumb Nurse Father, he was given a checkup and Hona said there's no cause for concern. Physically, that is. Psychological assessment turned up disastrous, to say at least. Gregor was declared unfit for combat deployment for the time being, so he won't be leaving just yet. Good to know. And I assume you'll be okay with us borrowing Sinclair for a while. Me? Yes, you. The LCE wants to look into the assignment you manifested. The higher-ups didn't waste the second green lighting the project between telling you more notice of investigation than a request for permission. Huh? Investigation? Where are you? It's rather a rudimentary existence of human experimentation. Human experimentation. Did you really have to put it like that, boss? Not to worry, Sinclair. A swipe or two of your skin and maybe some talk therapy. That's all there is to it. And of course, if we had your consent, the avenues of research would be vastly... No, I'm not giving you my consent. For your reference, the other part was also submitted some quite enthusiastic requests for research on filtration purposes. Oh, you have no idea. We had to get the boss to fend off the LCA's Mirror World Observatorium department and their hissy fist. They wanted to be the first ones to get their hands on you and spearhead the research, you see. And had we allowed them, they would have kept you for a good 2 months before letting you go. So at least you can do is think of and be a good boy and cooperate. Just in time, our researchers are here. Let's say our waved that the researchers were filing out of the funeral hall after paying respects. It wasn't long before Sinclair found himself surrounded on all sides. Wait, I'm perfectly capable of walking there on my own, so just don't run any painful tests on me. Of course, says John. All I could do was offer an unspoken encouragement to Sinclair, who sounded ready to collapse into a full-blown panic any minute. What about you? You not going with them? Oh, it's back to the long-term recovery ward for me. I always thought scientific research was one of that flamed my passion. But the recent events having introduced me to the merits of paid sick leave, I realized the time off beats research projects in my book, marginally. Enjoy it while it lasts. I highly suspect that every request for PTO submitted by our department will be projected for the rest of the year. Well, it's true your average corporation doesn't give more than a week off a year. That's something. As soon as Elisa trudged off for Dragon Steps, researchers see Sinclair and carried him away. Alright, we should get going too. Oh, do you have somewhere else to be? Well, I thought I'd go visit Gregor. I'm worried. Got something I said I'd help with. Gotta be there for it. I'm going with Claire to get some rest. Also to keep an eye on the research and stop them if they try anything fishy with the experiments. Let me know if you need anything, Dante. Sinners found out different trickers. They seem to have their own errands to run during the stay at the LCE. Everyone's busy with their own things. Puff. The only one keeping me company now are Ryoshi, who had filling the air with thick cigarette smoke, and Don Cody, who's sniffing and asking about at every corner of Vespa in a variant quest for the new color fixtures whereabouts. Toss was still here, too, staring blinking into the air. Is she accessing this gestalt? You seem to have some time to spare, manager. As I stood there wondering what I should do next to the home, had apparently finished tackling and signing the stack of papers walked over to me. This makes things rather convenient. There's something I had intended to discuss with you and Senator Ryoshi, a matter that requires your assistance. What kind of assistance? What kind of... Waka, says CH. Wait a minute, did Roger just step in as an interpreter? It's not that I don't appreciate her gesture, just that she... Especially when she usually snap at me and tell me to find someone else to interpret whenever the issue came up. But I can't help but doubt whether her choice method of interpretation always actually accomplishes anything. There is, I must admit, a certain novelty in witnessing the reconstruction of which requires interpretation into yet another linguistic form equally demanding of it. It would seem we need more manpower. Scratching his head, Wilhelm looked around for a moment before coming to a sudden pause as the idea crossed his mind. At the end of the gaze was a certain someone who was busy badgering LCCA employees with her relentless questioning. Who else, Braid? Might know where I must. If thou knowest not, now listen closely. The one I seek is a bearer of fashioned in the likeness of a bull. You there, why don't you join us too, Dost thou speak of me? The LCCA personnel who were quarantined by Donkey and her rather forceful interrogation regarding Vespa's whereabouts took the opportunity and fled the scene without so much as a backward glance the moment the captor turned her head to answer Honai. Indeed, there is a task that requires your assistance. But I have a few more ways to trade with noble yellow harpoon. You seek to emulate the virtual chivalry. Does that entail turning down the earnest plea of those in need? For the sake of clarity and distinction, it would be prudent to assign you a different identifier from that of my assistant. You will be number 2. That is, assistant number 2. I have not yet concluded my exchange with the yellow harpoon, but no true knight would abandon those who call for aid. Pray, speak thy quest. How may I be of service to thee? Delegating the interpretation of the matter's speed to Senator 4 has proven to be counterproductive. As such, your task will be reported to me, and the manager says, that indeed is simple. However, this WKOA eludeth my understanding its pretty. Well, prithee, allow me a little time to uncover its mystery. Relay the manager's words, not the Ryoshi's. They're asking you what kind of assistance you need. The request for interpretation was not directed at you, but I cannot deny that your meddling in the present circumstances is a welcome one. Now, simply that the rationally and inefficient as your suboptimal staffing choice and workflow have become sufficiently unbearable. Boss hopes that this is not some guileful scheme devised to elicit false cooperation. In any case manager, this request of mine concerns an investigation into the back doors located in this House of Spiders. I deem that the two of you should be the ones most familiar with the structure and layout of the house. After all, you were the one monitoring the entirety of the 5-pronged assault operation, and Center Force familiarity does not bear repeating. Do we go to the House Spiders right away? Oh, straw. You have assistant enough. Perhaps you could help, boss. Sure. Although not word for word, Foster relayed my intention to Honai, who responded by shaking his head. Not immediately, no. There is one more member you should bring along. One more? Saying me till the pen pushed up his glasses. The apprentice who was captured alive in the House of Spiders. Kira, she has regained consciousness. Yeah, her. Yep. The one that got cut in half. By your own fatherly person. And it's like, oh, you didn't even do that much. You didn't do any damage to what's his name. Well, hey, Solheim led us to look less like the cover, more and more like an interrogation chamber. Though every single medical equipment installed there seemed to be state-of-the-art, this place looks well-equipped. Probably a direct order from upper management. Although technologies to restore lost body parts are common enough in the sea, a facility of this kind is required to preserve the original form of her lower body while keeping the cost reasonable. Do I want to ask how expensive the other options are as it counts as reasonable? Windowless. Technically, there is a window. It just doesn't look outside. Windowless room, thick of the sharp scent of mess and chemicals. Kara was sitting on the bed, the center of her feet, as she regarded it. For someone covering for bicycles, she didn't look much different than how she appeared when I'd seen her through the center shared vision. She was captured alive for the extraction of information, yes? How long in the process of this? It hasn't yet begun, actually. We are waiting until the lines of information that we're questioning can be isolated. So far, all available personnel have been fully engaged in analyzing the documents and items discovered in the House of Spires. Then what are you even doing here? There is work to be done, contingent upon information obtainable only from a recent inhabitant of the House of Spires. And following a discussion with upper management, I've decided to put you to use as the company had originally intended. No TV, no comic books, just a super prickly glare on cold shoulder when I ask for something to pass the time. And now you suddenly need my help? Give me one reason I should cooperate. You don't really have a choice? Online didn't so much as twitch an eyebrow at Kira's buying tone. He merely gave her a nod with a sternly imperturbable expression. I didn't ask for your help. Put you to use, I believe is what I said. What? Your survival is not incidental. It is the result of calculation. The company anticipates a potential profit by keeping you alive. Expect a gain, as the term goes. Without such a forecast on the company's part, you should have already been disposed of. The upper management consists of people who would be disinclined to tolerate the daily maintenance and depreciation costs of this room, even at half their current numbers. Which brings us to the next point. Should you insist on maintaining this cooperative attitude, the company may decide to convene a meeting to reassess your worth, or shall we say, lack thereof, in its projected income statement. Well, suffice to say, such a reassessment would skew heavily against your favor. The outcome would be recommendation for immediate disposal. Hohenheim always had a way with words that could prickle and sting. Both Carrie almost felt like he traded the usual thorn off for a sharper knife instead of twisting it right where it hurt. I'm dead me as soon as my looseness runs out anyway. Not like you're gonna let me live, not after I kill a bazillion of you guys. So you anticipated some form of a corporate level retaliatory response against your person. That is indeed the curious line of reasoning. Then I must tell you, unlike your typical backstreet syndicate, such as the Middle, corporate entities of the city tend to avoid choices that may incur losses. The value of the information that could be extracted from the apprentice of the Middle and the combat prowess honed under the tutelage of the greater brother of the Middle, these two areas are likely what increased your value in the eyes of the company. So you've got zero respect, huh? You should blah. I'm trying to speak too fast. You should consider yourself fortunate. Huh? The heck you on about? Other companies would not solicit your cooperation by means of verbal exchange. Your interrogator would simply open your cranium, harvest your brain, and extract any and all necessary information without going through intermediary steps such as this. Even without resorting to such method, the range of available means to compel and disclosure of information is practically limitless. Truth serums, hypnotic suggestions, electrical shocks, and stimulations, of course, procedures utilizing distortions and abnormalities. That being said, the LCE department prefers to distance itself from such uncivilized approaches that may entail complication and after effects. I do hope we share a similar predilection. You're so freaking annoying, you know that, mister? The feeling is entirely mutual. Leaving the buying chill of his threats to sink in, I would turn towards the exit. Give her some push and bring her along. Don't quite seem to be myself today. No, that's where that too was a rather foolish thing to say. I will defer that matter to you, man. I just sort of work of this sort falls more into your capabilities than my own. And with that, Hohenheim stepped out of the room, leaving me to deal with Kira. The reaction was understandable. The LCE only finished saying that its dead researchers to rest. Kira was probably the last person anyone would want to face right now, much less speak to. Excuse me. What should I even say to persuade her? Tough. I was still caught in the thought with something quite unexpectedly made her way to Kira. Yoshihide? You. Heard you got stabbed in the back by me. Yes. That's not true. Papa wasn't lying a fatal blow unless he cut through me. That's why he did exactly that. Aimed for the enemy's head. Besides, he made the right choice. A little sacrifice ain't a thing in the town. Family. Coming from him, the middle mutt thrown out of his kennel. Doesn't it sound ridiculous even to you? That's thrown out. The fucker Matthias was a GB only by technicality. GB. Grayer brother. He fucked up badly. He was still family by name, but underneath it, everyone hoped he'd disappear quietly on his own. He was a family member nobody wanted around. Same treatment for me, being his brat. Not surprisingly, it's the ST for the bowl cut too. Same taste? Young Rashu, could it be that thou harbors a passionate zeal for fix? And Clee clapped the hand over that Cody's mouth as she smoothly chimed in the conversation. So what exactly is your point? The point is you're taking too long. If you can't decide whether you want to live or die, I can shorten the hesitation. Kill quick or I'll cut. I'm quick or I'll. I don't know what does that mean? Cooperate quietly or I'll snap your neck. Completely right this instant. Okay. That isn't such a bad way to go if you're keen on lower the axe straight to the grave. This is so crappy. Whatever I get, okay? I'll talk if that's what you want so bad. That actually worked. Workers who got out in the blaze of glory aren't actually the strong ones. The ones who survive, the ones who live to see another day and keep getting stronger. Anyway, Yoshi, what's up with you talking in weird-ass abbreviations? Like, sync. That's so random. Who even says that? First, I didn't even bother to reply and simply chewed onto them on the mouth end of her cigarette. But is this really the right call? To her, we're probably people she needs to settle a score with. As if. Half her tattoos are gone, they were confiscated. They even confiscated her book. You think, sorry excuse for loyalty means so much for the stray when that she'd bite us? Besides, no better hear it from her instead. Hey, tell me why Matthias kicked the bucket. That's because Papa was good, Yeah, you're the jerk sprout, right? You pushed yourself up the bed with the sacrifice, at least she didn't argue back. And we called Hohenheim, who was waiting outside. I said the prisoner was successfully persuaded. Come, you find your weapon on the table. You may use it in the event of an emergency. What the hell? I can't even unsheath it. You won't be able to use it without authorization. The code has been slightly adjusted. Now then, let us head to the House of Spires at once. The back door is up and waiting for us. We are waiting to the House of Spires with Kira trailing behind us, looking like she was smelling something particularly fishy on us. I don't remember any fish, though. And, we get a fight? Oh, thank goodness. No, he can't be deployed. What do we do?
나를 점 찍었다면
부름이라면
오케이.
Wait, did I?
투입 준비는 항상 되어 있습니다.
No, I didn't pick her egos. Okay, let's do this quick then. Yeah, that'll be fine. Do we have it? Yeah. Okay.
오케이. 이럴 것 같아서 대기 타고 있었지.
Okay, it goes up this.
항상 되어 있습니다.
녹슨 총에 날카롭지 않은 화살초. 녹슨 총에 날카롭지 않은 화살초.
No, I have to click the top part. I keep forgetting that.
장비 점검은 완벽.
We'll do those. Let's use. Or wait.
맞군.
Wait, did I do hers? I didn't do hers, did I? So we got that. Oh, we got the blood thing. I think that would work better for that. Yeah, we'll be fine. And what's this one do? We'll just take that one.
녹슨
자, 풀 뜯을 시간이다.
채워.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, this means we'll have only a few days had passed since our last visit, but the place looked markedly different from what we remembered. The sight of the hollow, frigid atmosphere and endless stench of corridors hadn't changed. But Callisto's so-called artworks are now covered in white sheets, and unfamiliar devices are fixed all around the back doors. Really, who might these people thither be? Look like some shady bastards moved in already. Our guard reception prompted Hoheim to step forward and gesture to one of the oddly dressed figures. Seems introductions are in order for both sides. This is Team Leader Allen from Wayfarer Company, who will be working with us on the investigation into the house's back doors. Wayfarer Company? Corporation entirely partnered with them is company responsible for providing portal technology. It has, in prior occasion, been referred to as the New or Aspirate W Corp, though the name isn't an official one. Our employees are also taking a liking to your new L Corp. Something we have in common, given that we're both chasing after the same horizon. So they're one's probably taking W Corp's place, huh? Company vying to take W Corp's. Okay. The same horizon he's probably talking about getting recognized as a wing. After all, the old L Corp had already fallen, while W Corp, from what I've heard, is free falling at this point. And these are managers and singers of the LCB department. Field operations unit frequently deployed to deal with site matters firsthand. They have more personnel, but the rest are tied up with duties elsewhere. Only a handful will be joining this investigation. I understand. Field operation units are also always understaffed anyway. The support you provided is more than sufficient. Oh, he takes off his hat. Okay. Alan gave an understanding nod. The man slipped off his bulky helmet before extending his hand and greeted. Please make their equation. The name's Alan, leader for Door Breach Team 4. Likewise. Before Faust could even relay my reciprocal greeting, words spilled out of Alan's mouth in a strange, uneven rhythm, as if my taking didn't bother him all. Like he was sticking to a script he had rehearsed. I've heard great things about you, Manager Dante and the bus team's performance. Capitalize on this Russian distortions at T-Corp as leverage to your push your products, and the profits were nothing more short of staggering, I heard. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be the distortion resolving specialists of the public. That's why that product part about. Man says it's merely a matter of luck. They also look forward to working with you on this task. Oh, are you an interpreter? In that case, I'm making sure to consult the manager only when you both are available. Sure. I'll stand particularly pleased with the role Alan pinned on her, but she died anyway. She quietly came to my side and answered my earlier question when Alan carried on the phone. He was referring to the Monolith sales project. The credit was attributed to the LCB as the express request of Mr. Hubbard's T-Corp's executive director. Oh, so that doesn't really spread, huh? So, we revealed the agreement. Now I understand you'll be assisting in verifying what lies beyond the back doors. I'd appreciate it if you could share any prior knowledge you have of these back doors connected. As detailed as you can make them, if you don't mind. Hohenheim fixed Kara, or the other Kara responded by definitely cocking her head, and the show of irritation gave up the sliver of them. Honestly, I've got pretty much nothing if it's about Robo in his room. I mean, I've seen Albina hit up the door and other ones here when she was popping out farm stuff, but farm? Oh, gathering materials? I see, what kind of human guts and all. She come back hauling piles of them. So they're probably connected to some backstreet areas. Backstreets, Any more details? Can you stop prying? You're low-key pissing me. What? That's literally all I've got for real. For what? I'm level her with a stiff expression. Even before I could register what happened, Kira's head jerked to the side from a sudden punch from Alan. I thought Kira was nimble enough to dodge such as, but this one seemed to caught her completely off guard. She stood there blinking, eyes round and roof. Actually, it wasn't that he was caught off. He caught her off guard. It was the motion of the punch itself that somehow fell off. The fist being raised, the arm being extended, the blow making contact. The chain of actions were there, but it didn't look normal. Did you just hit me? What the hell is wrong with As Kira reeled from the extra strike, Don Kelly spoke up in a cold, sharp tone. What manner of this courtesy is this? Ah. With all that whining, I thought the brat could use a lesson, a reminder of her place. I had no intention of damaging your company asset, of course. I simply... The level of warning would not be appropriate in this case. Team Leader Allen, that sort of conduct may not be an issue in your organization, but it is here. Should it happen again, do understand we may choose to terminate today's joint engagement without delay? My apologies. I will keep that in mind going forward. Allen stood down without arguing back, but Kira looked far from satisfied with how on. You just shocked me in the face to walk off? Freaking. Well, at least that's all he did. Fortunately enough for grumbling didn't escalate into her lashing. Punching now, though, what was that? Accepted behavior that defied the standard laws of physics, presumably a form technology utilized by Vayfair. Let's resume the task at hand. Sarah Ryoshio, give Manager Allen whatever information you have. That door should lead to one of the ring's protected turfs. Other two on the left, I remember they were marked with an X painted with blood, but I don't know what H and I there, where they actually lead, it's all blurry. Yeah, we know that all the doors will likely connect to perceivable areas. The biggest improvement in terms of intel for Wayward comes back door mapping, which means there's less chance of us encountering a space behind human precision past these doors. Alright, I'll proceed with connection verification. Which door shall we test first? We'll start with the one Scenario mentioned. You don't trust me at all, huh? Not even bring me along. Go ahead and carry this shit up. Now I'm beginning setting up various devices on the door, and soon an elegant white door opens before us. They're joining us as well, young? Just this once. There are procedures for handling field. Okay, let's see what's in here. What is this, some kind of wildlife exhibit? The moment we stepped in, the lights hit us all at once, strong as winds from the there's thanks to my... Like if I could make out the rooms filled with statues, perhaps taxidermy animals. I don't think that's technically what that is. Felt like gallery source, but it was so quiet the air itself seemed to carry... After a moment, suns shattered the silence, but it wasn't Don Cody, our usual suspect. Holy shit, the scale is just insane. That's the whale from Edith Ocean's Great Lakes, special issue. You've seen being down all along, examined it with a bit more energy, of course. Man, saying in real life it's different, and the Ingo Elder Solar one shot these monsters with the harpoon of his, huh? It's a Great Lake whale, doesn't look like one we've encountered, though. Organisms of various sources can be identified here. Singularly modded outskirts born. They almost look alive. They're not, right? No, they're... No. Not, those robotic... The rings has these zoos where they put monsters on display alive. Man, this would have been way more fun if we see the moving ones. Everything here is dead. Still looks crazy sick, though. The vibe really hits. Even though she was trying to play a cool Here kept sneaking glasses at the massive horn display on the side, clear surprise in the way. That's how I felt this distinct shortage of hyperactivity given the presence of someone in our party. Don Quixote? The eye of the second kindred of House Tepes. What is it doing here? As much as the word kindred, I can't help but follow Don Quixote's gaze. Opposite the wheels of another cottage that contained items leaning a more grotesque side. Now that looks like a hand, that must be the eye. That looks like a hoof thing. Because the eye caught of the body parts like hand bones is stripped away from. It's a gallery of the School of Sophism, probably a main studio at that, which comes from a maestro here in the auction house. Alan, we'll be making our exit shortly. Prepare to initiate lockdown sequence. Before Hohenheim could even finish it during transmission, numerous footsteps followed in from somewhere nearby. We've got a bunch of furries. Turning towards the sounds of clues clacking the floor, we found others seated wearing animal masks, staring directly at us. Their presence is kind of like Papa's. Ain't no way. That's not a raid boss we can clear on our level. We gotta get out of here. It's not that simple. Retreating is not a viable solution here. This door is connected to the House of Spires. Escaping without installing a security system will invite pursuit. We must stall them until Alan is ready to initiate the lockdown sequence. As tensions thickened, one of the strangers who wore particularly bonas stepped forward. The voice that spoke to us carried equal part curiosity and delight. You came through that door. Then the house's fall wasn't just a baseless rumor. A stray little spiderling following from her parents' web. How many years has it been? You. Who are you? All right, it makes sense that you would fail to recognize me. I used to wear a different mask back then when I to visit you as a tutor, didn't I? A wolf, if memory serves right. Yes. That must have been when I was quite captivated by the sensation of tearing into raw, harassing fresh of living prey, and the predator's ferocious carnivorous resounding howling. Rings a bell. You're the master of whose whole lesson was a 3-hour sermon praising the intensity of primary colors and the strength of living creatures. Benoit, wasn't it? That's right, Emile Benoit. Obviously, this is probably French or something, so I'm not going to say it right. Not because I want to say it wrong, it's just that I don't do French. You can't say it, you can't hatch from a chicken's egg, doesn't apply, you see. Looks like that mind of yours is still sly as a raven, unlike your nurse fathers. Don't presume. I only remember you because of the tactility of hides and guts. Made for a passable AW. The first class was casually talking a trip down memory lane with the maestro, but I had a feeling she was back dragging this out on purpose to buy us time. This lockdown sequence thing, how much longer till it take? Hold on, the lockdown sequence. We've been shooting the ring members and Tez Galera stare at the upgrade. Could you simply relate her words? I'm afraid the process and speed of lockdown sequences lies in Allentown's not mine. It is by nature a time-consuming work we cannot expect haste. Perhaps that does not make this suitable juncture trial plan A. Any suggestions that involve technically remove your shoes will not be dignified with a serious discussion. Instead, you have that home and had in mind had nothing to do with Don Quixote's shows because he opened his mouth as though he was about to retort the false categorical rejection. But for the moment, he followed false eyes and saw what she was looking at. He quietly shut his mouth and said nothing further. Faith and potentially is not something I dislike. As for this, however, this seems like grasping at straws. And if their gaze was Riosh's blade, Harry I was going to try using it anyway. Like to see if a Maestro Seth is any different. Telling him that we were just leaving won't work, will it? No, it won't. Every individual present here would be quite the fascinating space into the artist of the ring. We are particularly a windfall of inspiration and material that has so conveniently been delivered to them. It is improbable that they will allow us to return unharmed. Alice's right. She was the Hohenheimer genius and wishes we live. I'm quite as a kindred of a higher gender. How's it going bow in my head? I have no idea how much information the ring has on us, but even nothing, they wouldn't let us go easily. Are you sure about this, Ryoshi? Doesn't matter if I am satisfied at all or not, Clock. Thing is that woman of high hang can do as you did and eat cheese. I'll take care of the rest. Right, that's probably our best shot. What Ryusha meant was clear. Resonate with the Grudens, secure advantage, equal them and catch off, of course. The cut for another, even if it's given us real fans, it might install the base for long live. Spore, the exhibit only houses commissions from students and docents. What's her docent? If you look closely, there are some really passionate ones that show their promise of excellence. Above all, this is a gallery of the School of Catholicism, and mine, the gallery of Emile Bonnet. Which is why I would have preferred to take you without any unnecessary fight, if possible. A shame. Still, we're taking about a unique regal here. I matched this one. The quieting area makes it worth the cost. If you want a taste. And Kirijan flickers across as he tried to unsheath the relay. He can't pull it out. Falcon has to use the bind that don't exist, so why can't I draw the blade? Now, that's unexpected. So the rumors about you mastering that relic, were they false? Geisha only gave a little swing of her arm, but they're close enough to make yours recoil. A shallow surprise crossed her face. The wound looked like nothing in her less like ash, yet the metal's complex gaze shifted between the blood. Risha's and her own, as though the attack had been an experiment to prove that it was positive. It wasn't hard to guess what she was thinking. You noticed, did you? I had my doubts from the moment I saw you today. Does this aspires a success or a failure? Tell me, Yoshi. What do you think of a serpent's defining strength is? What are you on about? Ask any student, and they'll give you the same predictable answers. The deadly venom, the 6 scales, why its lamentability is no. Marshall then starts with the assured certainty, then sees the beige thread dragging from the ceiling. No, calling a mere thread would be wrong. It was something that resembled a thread, yet felt much more disturbing. I, for one, have a particular liking for the jaw and the spine. The flexibility of the spine, linked like a chain, and the jaw, bound not by the bone, but by ligaments that allow the animal to swallow its very whole. Perhaps I would say that I admire their structural refinement. The thrice coiled ring on their finger gave off a cold glint, and the walls and the ceiling suddenly began to echo with a sickening squelch and crack of flesh and bones assembling. What the hell is that? Which brings to the ask, what better way to claim this livery of promising with a single bite than the work of art fashioned from a snake? Marshall plunged her arm into the long serpentine body of a monster. Her sheer presence radiated a pressure as oppressive as that of the nurse father, only more primal and intemperate. Consider this a privilege. This is the first time this piece has ever been exhibited to an outsider. Oh, Heim, is lockdown seekers not ready? 1 minute to go, subside. Attack from Ego, her hastily brushed. Didn't even last a moment, the weapon was knocked from his hand. As I scrambled to equip the sands with their identities, something observably stopped the beast like appendage midway through its hurling motion. And the one that intercepted the blow. Ah, shit. Was curious, starting to push back. Yes, the serpentine arms with their steel blade. Yeah? Did she have a change of heart I wasn't aware of? Yeah, shit, this wasn't planned at all. Obviously not, she couldn't have changed her mind that quickly. Because the look on her face was anything but that of other regret. The middle, For someone who doesn't seem to have a proper memory, you think yourself quite the quality of tattoos on yourself. Ah, you must be the new kid. This I just took in. Why are you standing in my way? Fuck if I know. I'm already regretting it, alright? Damn it, the de facto god ditched me here. Why did I even... Must be instinct taken. Couldn't fully shake off the opponent's killing instinct, so the body chose to clash head on. So the behavioral facet of the psyche can be controlled with suitable training. Unexpected data. But useful to be sure. Ah, shut it, mister. Quit yapping. Let me use my blade. Authorized and ready. Lifting lock now. Kira thermal weapons emerged from the sheath with metallic links. She used recoil of the motion to skid back to assume a defensive set. Naturally, that broke Bennett's arm from the deadlock as well. The marshal lashed out again with the monstrous limb, but... There's a foul injustice to strike an unprepared opponent in a duel. Behold, I shall allow glimpse of the baddest firm of the only most renowned of fixtures have displayed through the ages. Seeing an opening, Yonka slammed into the arm with her full might, knocking off its trajectory. Predictably, the sheer force of the marshal's attack instantly reduced her to a red sledge on bone on the floor, sending her remains crashing Ready to initiate lockdown test. I will seal the door immediately upon your exit. Everyone to the door. Fuse organ remains a thing of 3. As Fast made her way to the exit, that was once not calculated. The students of the ring surrounded Kira, barring her way out. A hollow chuckle slipped out their lips. Haha, call it for real. This is why I didn't want to get involved. Taking her back would mean having a sizable force of the ring right behind her through the door. Kira too seemed to have realized the risk that no one in her right mind would want to take. She lowered her head and then she full well the fate thing. I'm such a dumbass. What was I thinking of diving in like that? You, don't touch that. Get over here now. But these guys are gonna come flooding in if you talk too much. Want to get cleaved in half again? You pin this on me later, you're gonna pay. Blocking the monster's arm. And as it came down on her again, Kira hurled his head toward the door with every single bit of strength she could muster. More than a few scissors rushed through the door to chase the scissor got in the head. Lockdown sequence of play. All backdoor links have been cut. Fortunately, man managed to sever connection before the maestro could cross over. Puff. Bulkhead. Think you can use your arm? Think so. That's what she says. Kira. During an expedition 5 of the ring members have engaged in a cross-formidable size, fighting them in the centers I have on the sides on the. In case that, guys, I assume you're all available right now? As soon as I call out the sales voices through. Huh? I guess so. Ready for your order, manager. Ready to call him whenever. Hang on, I just need to finish this bite. Everyone to Mary. And he uses the thing that calls them all here, and it's like, oh. Okay.
늦으면 내피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
We'll see how this goes. You won before, then you lost. That's upsetting.
승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
Oh, she's here.
들이 흔들흔들. 기회 아니야? 무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터라 시작이 됐어.
만 남았어도 결정 이 정도쯤은
Oh, she hit the right person.
흔들흔들. 것은 없네. 기회 아니야? 대성공이야. 칼은 신나. 노래 부를까?
이제야 힘이 갔네요. 이제야 힘이 갔네요.
보여드려야겠군요. 왜냐면 예술을. 우와, 카론도 깜짝. 예측할 수 없게.
Oh, you.
짜증나게. 저의 뼈로 틀을 잡고 저의 살로 탈관에 돋게. 나쁘지 않아요. 탈관에 돋게. 나쁘지 않아요. 야호, 이기는 편, 우리 편. 없게. 이제야 친해졌네요. 1타입이 맞지? 저희 영감을 가르쳐 주시는군요. 수담해줄게.
I win. Yeah, it's only the first floor, and the impediments are already beyond expected levels. I swear, I thought it was it for me back there. Events of this nature won't be frequent. We must be merely beset by ill luck. If you just listened to me and picked another door, we wouldn't have gone cooked like that in the first place. Why even drag me into this? You're not going to trust me, weirdos. Who have opened them all at the end of the day? Let's see, what's that? Same difference. Again, why shorten it like that? Just say duh or something. Or just spell it out and say it was anticipated. That's whatever. Or good. Hayfair does have a team dedicated to this sort of task, but hi, honestly, I was bracing myself for the worst. The odds of completing the first door of an expedition without colleges are under 15%. This is by own measures countless. Let's exhibition. Tapping away at us, addressed us with an amicable smile. He seemed totally different from the man who had just handled Kira with a fist to the face. Those Favas don't be able to cross any time with the door completely locked down, right? That cannot be ascertained with certainty. Are you saying more might come? The corridors and backways are always been the ring's turf clock. And those Favases have endured a long standard faction within the ring. If they've got that much history, they must know many back doors, both origin and destination points. Alan clarified Ryosha was hinting at. Yes, compared to them, we lack knowledge of alternate routes, which makes it difficult to prevent infiltration. No need to concern ourselves over much. Even if that were the case, it's unlikely they would move on the Spire House so soon. Yeah. They would always rush for a surprise attack, though. Even if the Foss's Maestro seemed to lack clear intent on the event that took place at the House of Spires. If so, it follows that they would need time to assess and deliberate about the situation. The logical scope of their concerns will be identified the organization that has secured the House of Spires, the possibility of additional traps beyond the back doors, and the like. Once all backdoor-related procedures tied to the House of Spires are complete, the resulting security net framework should be able to preempt and block any infiltration attempts. This opportunity is more important than I thought. Puff. That aside, why couldn't I draw the blade? Is it the new scabbard's fault? Ryosha lifted the sheath, the sword was there for dead, and when I felt its faint vibration, blade twitching ever so slightly. That quivering was faint. 'Twas seen by all, indeed. Yeah, must I do? Is it possessed or something? Looks like I was the only one who saw the sword twitching as though it wasn't pleased at all with how it was talking about the scabbard. Ryosha's gaze lingered on the sword, loyally shifting backwards. Could it be the thing the scabbard brought back some memories of her? Ryosha, do you... Is it an SS? A demon edge? An enchanted blade? Which is it? It's probably neither of those, nor is it a sentient sword. This presents a fine opportunity to conduct another examination of the sword. Excuse us for a moment, Team Leader Allen. Please feel free to go ahead. The attack has now damaged some devices, so we're going to have to perform some maintenance before continuing. There's plenty of other work for me to do while... As we return to the headquarters research facility then? No, that won't be necessary. There's a facility here that should prove more than adequate.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세
Relics on the sign.
비록
More talking.
제 작품이
Rohan brought us to what looked like a research lab lined with cables, rows of screens, and diagrams full of complex symbols and shapes. I didn't know there was a place like this in the House of Spires. This is a forward base constructed by Lumos Company following Operation Spire Fire. It did not exist prior to the Hall's fall. It is intended for additional background investigation and research into irregular phenomena observed during the operation. Irregular phenomena. An example. Research subjects such as the spatial analysis of the correlation between the emergence of Sinner 11's sign and the manifestation of possible future. Oh, Sinclair. Looking around, I spotted Sinclair and the group of researchers surrounding him, the same people who had dragged him off earlier. They were accompanied by a guy Sinner who had tagged along each other's show to kill some time. Well, they took a breather after work. How long will this examination take? Sinclair's biometric assessment concluded the analyzer device should be available for the relic now, which means it should be finished in an hour from now, at least. Elegance at the mention of an hour. I don't know why or how, but it seemed to sway away almost like Charles Timlin. It's moving again. Come along, Regis. I expect you want to witness this. Fine. Joe I had to decide the examination was probably going to start immediately. Time to get to Sinclair then. Wait. I was making my way through a student who had been bombarded with questions when the unexpected figure behind the pillar caught my eye. It was Vespa Carabro, with a piece of covered in crooked handwriting taped on his back. Snack thief? Ah, manager. Karen Snacks. Mr. Stringby ate all of them up. Sorry, but I think there's been some misunderstanding. Berg. Kick his ass. You ate my snacks. Not only is this a matter of not worth pointing figures over, but Karen also shares some of the responsibility of leaving them out on the table unattended. Still, I prefer you to exercise more caution next time, or you'll be put in a tough spot. Understood. Karen, super sulky mode engaged. Not talking for half a day. Deploying super pass. Bitter candy. Beep beep. Mood disabled. I'm not sure if this is an appropriate request, but may I remove the paper from my back now? It's a little inconvenient for me. Karen forgives this time. Next time, no mercy. Best make sure she doesn't listen to the radio channel again. Or just look down with a screen. Karen peeled the snack thief sign off it. Make sure to remember this so I don't have to think I'm burning through the little candy chance I left on such trivial nonsense. Thank you. Best gave a polite thanks, but he was already picking something into his mouth. Wait a minute. I was saving that for later. I assumed you were being picky. Well, now you know, yet I see you gobbling up my share. He took my sack too. Virgil kicked his ass. Rollian Romas. I'm aware that the whole sack punching a lot of teeth is being funneled into your snacking expenses. And now you're raiding the LCE supplies as well? Chill. That's what's been agreed upon, okay? Besides, that's that and this is this. The line of version. His brow looked deeper than usual today. Hoping to help him out of the endless cycle of snack-related headaches and satisfy my own thinking curiosity. I drew near our guide and broke his brooding silence with my TikToks. Did we learn anything about Sinclair's sign? Dante is inquiring about the outcome of the research on the sign. I've heard from the researchers, but nothing of particular significance came out of it. Observation of the sign has been limited to two individuals. Excuse me. The manager is clear. Due to limited accessibility to the only verifiable information so far has been its existence. Researching that which cannot be observed is bound to be difficult. Boss has a point. Aside from Sinclair and the scissors, I can actually see the sign. The harmless thing would go for the researchers. Even Sonia said only 6 people could perceive it. If there were more individuals wearing signs, there would be a wider pool for comparative analysis of statistical examples to narrow down the scope. However, records indicate no suitable references exist. At present, the research effort is limited to reducing variables such as whether or not the irregular phenomena are tied to the location where the battle took place. By individuals bearing signs, you mean people like Damien and Sanson? Wait. When could those guys do what Sinclair did? Pulling some superpower users that rock everything? Even Sonia? I should step in and put an end to the subject before we'll get blues. I don't think so. From what Ishmael and Foss reported back then. Right, Sinclair from the future said each sign carries a different power, I think. Maybe, you know, those layers of light rings Damien used to finish off Cromer or Sanson striking us into his story. Those could be it. Fine, that thought seemed possible. But none of this information can be confirmed yet. Correct. As you stated, any discussion of the subject would not venture beyond the realm of wild speculation. Nothing to be proven yet, ergo fear would be an unnecessary response at present. This is at best grounded in superstition, but it would seem that the researchers are coping forth a hypothesis from vestiges left in the wake of the Sinclair's future self. Of that bit about the sign maybe being some singularity or whatever, yeah? The precise position of the hypothesis was the fundamental principles of the sign working may be equivalent to those of singularities or relics. But no actionable evidence was obtained from Sinclair there. At present, no means by which this hypothesis may be validated. Let's see, so nothing came out of them dragging Sinclair off for the research. Oh, you thought I was being dragged off, but still let it happen anyway. No, I mean, I'm just kidding. Just thought I'd try to get the only player wouldn't have even thought to joke about that. It's really changed lately for the better, I think. So, did anything happen that we should worry about? I stayed close to him in case nothing serious came up. Just took some blood, a small skin sample, and they were checking the sign if the sign reacts to electrical stimulation. Yeah, and I had to fill out some questionnaires too. Things like, please describe what you remember from the battle exactly as it happened, or list the sensations you felt when you regained consciousness. And your memories of that moment have yet to return? No. I don't know if they'll ever come back, actually. Foss said they'll only exist in my future self, so wait. But for my future self to even have this knowledge, shouldn't I carry them in the first place? Which comes first? A paradox it would seem, in such a case, since Sinclair is merely one branch among many possible futures. If the future unfurls into boundless branches by means of ceaseless bifurcation, then the body of information that constitutes a certain future would scatter into grains more lean than dust, to diminishing to even reverse their course and trace their path back to the self that now exists. Is that theory suggested? Not a certainty, but a plausible interpretation. There you go. More about nonsense you want. Oh, memory not. The future jacket still came out of him, didn't he? And some part of him's gotta be left there somewhere, yeah? Like muscle memory or whatever. Perhaps he still could pull off some of those tricks from back then? Heard you kicked out proper out there and pulled out that trick you pulled from that plaster old geezer, right? Not that he was using main technique quite effortlessly too. What? The glowing ring thing? Yep, the glowing ring thing. He had two of them coiled around his weapon. I used the glowing ring thing. I call it the glowing ring thing too. This is the first time I've heard anything about it. Alright, so what exactly is this glowing ring thing? Anyone? Maybe some technique that enhances physical? I mean, I guess the flashy aura that makes you tough one part of it, but there's gotta be more, right? Okay. Don't know. Could be a secret finger thing they pass down to their members, technique or something like that. Look at the black Coney leader, the high hang prick. There's a whole lot of fingers, ain't they? Nothing seems to unravel, even among LCD. There were those who came to wield it, and Virgilius too. So, what, only the probably hard bastards use it? Some top-end trick, is it? Without anyone in particular prompting it, then they slowly turn their gaze toward Virgilius and Vespa. I learned to wield it for my team leader too. I have a straight understanding of Shin. I cannot claim I can claim nothing too profound. However, I can't spare some rumors, though they are all without proper sources. Rumors. They circulate among elite fixers and association leadership. And that there exists a power called Shin, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs. Rumor among fixers, that sayest thou. Yes, even the technique to manifest how two tips really spread through hearsay. Oh yeah, that tracks. The super rookie column in the latest mag bonus fit. Bro was really popping off with a straight up aura farm with a shiny mag wrapped around the weapon. It must have been that my eye were privy to see such a marvel in the video. Wait, you serious? It's the latest issue, literally on the videotape in the back. Maybe you missed it? Videotape? Alas, for many weeks, I have been stranded from Mephi, relieving me of a chance to read not only the prior chronicle, but the latest one as well. woe is me. When I return, I shall feast upon the noble exploits of amazing fixers. As Don Cody dramatically spiraled into a state of utter dejection, this cut in the coverage is nearing from what I recall. The mantle of Shin grants its user a high degree of physical enhancement. There's no thing as reinforcement without supplies, no power that magically comes without the equivalent cost to wield it. That power relies on emotion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistent like prosthesis and augmentation, and depending on how you use it, the consequence it demands can reach levels comparable to the ego you use. You mean to say that extracts the pull upon the mind? I can walk you through the fundamentals if you like. From what I observed, it appears to be a technique reserved for those of considerable strength. At our current level, it's not unreasonable to assume we can't make use of it. Regarding that, our team leader has been conducting intensive research. According to her, physical strength itself has a little bearing on one's ability to learn and read Wheel Shin. As the Jarl Harpoon says, it is in essence the power that can be learned by almost anyone, provided they know the proper method of training. If anyone knows how to train. Vespa's brow visibly twitched by the moment Yellow Harpoon left Virgil's lip. Yeah, doesn't seem like he's a big fan of his own title, the Yellow Harpoon, huh? Well, it fits. He's got those yellow stripes on his clothes and he's a harpoon too. Can he argue with that? If I were to exaggerate, even Synergy King's pre-contract self could manage to learn it. But why must this self of mine be chosen at the point of comparison? Well, because you're the wimpiest one here? Don't let get you. Even so, if it would be a mistake to assume it's a power anyone could grasp with ease. As long as you are bound by contract as sinners, your ability to wield it will be severely limited. Unless you rely on particular identities to come upon willing extraordinary circumstances. What shame would have been useful. Hey then, what about me? Can I learn too? Kira had been fidgeting with her fingers, raising the arm and asked if she didn't hold the question back. Come to think of it, the nervous didn't use shit. Papa never taught me how to use it. He always said I could get stronger without a stupid crutch like that. It wasn't that he didn't teach you, he couldn't. He was a man who probably had never once reflected upon his own sins. A piece of trash like him would be incapable of even comprehending such a power in the first place. Vespa's response is always come back dripping with venomous hatred whenever the conversation turns to the topic of the fingers. Kira must have noticed too, perhaps she simply didn't find the right words to push back. Either way, she held her tongue, her expression settling into a bland frustration and something that looked like a little too close to sadness. If you want to reduce it to a yes or no, then yes, you will be able to learn it with the odds in your favor. That is, assuming that the company decides to tolerate your continued existence. Already said I get it. As it stands, you're nothing more than a pending case of disposal. Closer to a threat than you are to an ally, strictly speaking. Don't get comfortable because the managers and sinners treat you with lenience. Step out of line and you will be the one who pays the price. There was nothing in what Virgilia said that I could argue with. Kira had been a member of the House of Spiders. She merged scores of LCE researchers and left us with plenty of memories we'd rather not revisit. Oh, jeez. For now, we're just working together. Not contesting that decision doesn't mean we have no hard feelings towards her. Leaving Kira alone, there's a lot the sinners slipped back into their own business, snacks, idle chatter, and conversation about whatever. The examination is concluded. I suppose it won't be an issue to let you hear the results together. And before we knew it, Hohenheim and Ryoshu returned. I would like it if they put the voices in the side story stuff, so I don't have to keep doing that. Because that takes a lot of reading. Anyway, to present the conclusion first, no, the notion of the sword being a sentient one is incorrect. The locus of the will is not the blade, but the scabbard. An ego forged in a rather paradoxical nature, yes, that would be the most appropriate description. Nah, sentient sword, huh? You really wanted a sentient sword. Grumpy the Who made the scabbard quiver almost as if it had taken offense. Somehow I felt like I could understand what Hohen meant by will now. It was a reunion of sorts, one that gave both a tinge of sadness and hope. The scabbard has its own will, doesn't mean the owner of that will can be resurrected. It's too premature to deliberate on the matter. The state of existence on the question is not one that may be defined as death at the moment. I assume they asked whether it can be revived or brought back to life. Even supposing that revival is a very fixed variable, the reconstruction of the original Aquaria body falls in the realms of theoretical possibility. The probability approaches zero given the limit of today's technology and conditions. We researchers are inclined to entertain even infinitesimal chances, but in terminology of people like yourself, such a prospect would be labeled impossible, wouldn't it? There's no need to fixate on the possibilities of the present manager that day. Such matters are reserved for scientists to hold on to. Right. But we may have uncovered a thread, something that would lead to restoring Cinderella's memories, though. Again, this too is merely a possibility. Far more practical avenue for you to pursue at the moment, nonetheless. And to that end, yes, further analysis of the scabbard itself would be necessary. Coordinate with Alan for your next duty. You will be in the nurse Ringfather's quarters, that will be all. And I skipped the... That will be fine. I cut himself off, clapping his mouth shut, as if anything further change might scatter and mess up the theories he's structured in our conversation. Alright then, before we go, anyone want to take along? Not cheating on food, averting their gaze as his or pretending they weren't interested at all. But going by the way of the forks, as long as moving, it was pretty clear to me that they've been intently listening in on our conversation. Where are we to go? All right, forgot the rest of you weren't here with us early. Boss, Don Quixote, Roshu, and I have been checking each backdoor leads. Oh, and Kirikou, the prisoner of war, Commander? You talk about me? Oh, yes, I guess I'm working with him too. Best remember the trick. Everyone's warning you. Did you cause even the slightest harm to excited manager, you'll be held accountable without exception. I'm sure, whatevs. Kira kneeled at others with mocking pout, but oddly enough, she didn't appear particularly irritated. Anyway, I think it'd be better if we had a few more people just to be safe. One of the doors we went to earlier led straight to the ring's corridor. That was a close call. Both and he with hand shut the moment I finished speaking. I'd very much like to accompany you. Oh, I knew I really noticed. You're working as your very honors being executive manager. Oh, just understand better than anyone your concern, or I owe this. The power of working in a prisoner of war so liable to betray. Have you're in the special support. Proceed with only a handful of soldiers under command. This cannot stand, I'm afraid. Won't be able to focus on their duties without personal seeing to your safety. I get it, you made your point clear enough. Not keen on how I just keel over the moment you summon me. It feels a bit dodgy, but I stick by your side and wrap it out myself. Probably don't need me to take long. I guess you can't just summon the rest of us. You can't summon the rest of us like you did earlier. If you research yet unfinished holds my efforts. I shall join you once it's found closure. I don't think I can be much help wherever you're going. I'll pass. I will follow if that is your order, manager. No, it's fine. Just get some rest. I'll summon again if things get for now. I'll go see Alan again. Yay! I wonder what the next door is and where terrible place it goes. Yes, I bet it. Oh, yay! We're a third of the way through. And we're already can tell we're gonna end up fighting something. Ah, you've arrived. I've been waiting for you. We sifted through the isolated doors with the house probably leading into the rings gallery. Next step should be to enter the alternate door you mentioned, but hold on a sec. I was actually gatekeeping more stuff. Huh? Gatekeeping. Are you saying you have more to tell us about gate doors? Yep. That door, pretty sure it connects to N-Corp's nest. I saw Albina go in all hyped about some canned whatever it was. And that one door with bandages wrapped around the handle, probably go in there and cross out vengeances. From the book it said it's probably a turf protected by a thumb subsidiary or something. Like her she offered only vague snippets even about such a door. Nothing on a string of intel that seems solid even to someone as clueless about the back doors being, He's far more cooperative than insisting even that Alan character refer from what I hear. Yeah, You'd think she'd clamp up like a spike. I wonder if she's changed her mind about cooperation. Nevertheless, we must let our guard down. Executive manager, just tell him what she'll do. Frickin', I can hear everything you're saying, you know. Alright, based on the intel, please proceed by investigating the safest doors first. As for the high-risk ones, I'll continue checking and let you know which ones you need to enter. I'll tinker with the device around and flash a couple doors with blue light. Guess that means we need this. Where do you guys want to go first? They all look about the same. Just start with the closest one. Mine said they were the safest one, so it wouldn't matter which one. Just as I reached for the nearest door, he Rose veered off, stopping in front of another one that stood a few steps apart. This door. It feels familiar. You recognize the door? I think I passed through this a few times when I was little. Hardly had Ryosho stopped speaking when a fragment of paint over its parts slipped into my mind. Sorry, I heard a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster. Oh, I know. Let's go for a walk. I don't recall much about it. That memory's just down. Could it be tied to Aira? Let's start with that door. Okay, this one, yeah? Here we go. Impatient as ever, Heathcliff shoved the door open and strode in first. The rest of us followed, including Carrie and the others. And this place is, judging by the state, it seems a facility located within the nest, most likely a park. Every solid walk in here is dragging some animal along means they've got money to burn. Proper rich lot, this place. Walk the past Ryosho remembered it in her memories and the sight of people fussing over their pets. Pieces clicked together and I voiced the memory I saw back at the House of Spiders. You ever come here with a puppy named Saru? Yeah, I remember that. Not a puppy, though. Saru was a bit bigger by then. Sorry to hear that. I should have finished my homework faster. Why isn't it getting better? I gave her lots to eat. Oh, I know. Want to go for walkies? You love walkies, don't you, Saru? Bark. It's just where her dad always visits, the door that's connected to a park. We can go over there right now. The memory burned bright in my vision before passing it. That was her as a kid? Really, such gentleness doth seem most unlike the young Ryosho. Hey, Clock, who said you could show them my memories willy-nilly? No, come on. You know it's not something I can control. GG. Back to the House of Spiders is the only one that can see. So her memories seem to manifest for every round, like we experienced in H-Corp with Hong Lu. Which probably means, why are y'all staring at me? That's so random. What the hell? Did you not see that just now? See what? You guys zoning out together? And I guess it doesn't apply to her. Then again, I'm like how it was between Lin Dayu and Hong Yu. Kira doesn't have any direct connection to Ryosho. It makes sense, I guess. Was that adorable hound like a can-year-old young Ryosho? Indeed, one of my only best friend. And because of that, Saru would be locked away in the vault every time I had to depart on an assignment with a spiral driven through her. First ever leash, looking back, it might have been a kind of fate she died sooner. To look such cruelty upon the voices animal, how could such wickedness be borne? What happened to Saru in the end? She died before her time. I don't recall why, but there was a day when Saru wouldn't stop whimpering in pain, and I shut myself in my room crying. You were not someone else? Who else? Oh, see, it was me. Of course it. Within the frame manner, how he looked utterly convinced, and while I was grieving, Callisto offered a solution that he would give me a gift the next day, and what I received was something called the Beast Bone Blade. A toe that would whine and yelp in Charles' voice with every swing. Even in a way, I always knew there was something creepy with Robohunk. So that's how he killed your dog, huh? No, he didn't kill Saru. The Tanta was alive. Did you say alive? Holy hell, right now that's it. Her eyes were embedded in it like a dormouse, and they stare at me in accusation. The tiny heart beating as though it was quaking with fear. It was a horrible sight, and I felt pity. So I shortened what remained of her time with my own hands. Got me thinking, after all, why do you still mess with that art thing then? Let's be honest, after seeing stuff like that, you want to steer clear. Well, right, those things you call arcos were so cursed, straight up nightmare fuel. Like, I haven't really checked out the Ring's artworks outside of Albia and her nurse fathers, so maybe I'm just a noob when it comes to all that, but yeah, their stuff never gave me any art vibes for real. I thought the same. Well, I was terrified at first, yet as I learned more, there were some facets that suited my taste. The finest appeal in those grotesque creations. What you've told me about Callisto, it's Looks like he failed to stick to his own advice. But there's something he always used to say. Art is wholly subjective, and thus one must never expect the understanding of others. The uncanny, the horrible, there's a beauty that lies in the grotesque. So, can't say I get it, but if you say so. Nah, bloody hell, how do you end up getting used to that kind of thing? Well, you need to understand, you're not an artist. I got used to it, but the vascular insulation artworks caused night terrors and nightmares for Gretel. Gabbard moved and really came to a pause. It trembled, but there was once a strange liveliness to it, as though it quivered between fear and anticipation. Night terrors crying from the nightmares in this house of spiders? There was actually someone who got scared of ring stuff back in your day? You need to check something. We've seen enough here, though. Let's go back. Yeah. There's nothing back here anyway. What we could. Well, the art was covered in a sheet of cloth right here. There used to be a large workers here. I don't know what kind of impulse struck him, but the bastard went about fussing. He needed practice so he wouldn't lose his touch. Over there. So I told you to keep the exhibition in your room. Ah, you're returning the sheet. Tried to attempt installation art at a somewhat larger scale this time, but I ran out of space in my gallery. Oh, many people were scaring me. Here shows you Aria has reached the age where she may be interested in the world of us. Surely this wouldn't be a problem. It would. You liking me and me acquired taste doesn't mean Aria. Ah, sniffle. Let's get you back to your room. I was hugging something in my arms. It was crying. Sorrow, no. Too big for sorrow. Last remember never be made whole, no matter how many fragments glued together. We could tell Ryosha everything we knew about Aria, but never truly reach her. I see this hollow void. This must be Aria. Sensation emotion for what they know to be entangled in Ryosha. It's possible for us to reminisce about Aria. Soft rattle Aria gave seemed to show how pleased she was with this small stuff. Alright, time to check out the next door. We had entered several more back doors that Alan pointed out, but unfortunately none of these went to end up starting memories any further. Pretty much nothing here. I think we're done. What the? How'd they get in here? Girl, Kira pointing her figures wearing masks were hauling what looked like massive lumps of flesh hidden behind the tent of sorts. Those ring assailants from before. This has to say they have to seal the door there. How did these villains come to stand before us once more? They probably entered via an entirely separate route, another back door. As you can see, their objective appears to be people in our fathers, or the bringing our father's artwork. Get on with it. We need to move as many pieces as we can before we pull out. Wait, but I thought Robotnik was washed. So he's got so many fanboys. Does his art this value in of itself, or is it just a case of posthumous premium of dead effect to think about? Some of the pieces have already been taken, of course. They're a little valuable to both our companies. Watching them sweating and dragging the mini-core pieces of them pretty funny. But imagining how those pieces will be labeled with some pathetic notion of heritage connected to the name of the description plaques, pretty unsavory. Maybe occupied transport down that likely soon causes the harm to a Wayfarer and LCE person. It would be fair to eliminate them without the need considering the ring's reputation. Well, this is right. Better wipe them out before they try anything stupid. Guys, looks like we got another job to do. Lend me a hand. Rio didn't buzz with the standard supplies this time, but it should be fine. Then you have the picture where it has all the artwork. Well, I wouldn't call it artwork.
늦으면 내피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
What?
일리 있는 의견이다. 그걸로 하지.
지금 뭘 잘못했는지는 알기나 해. 드라마에서 봤어.
짜증나게.
카론, 기다리는 거 못해. 100초만 기다려줄게. 대성공이야.
아이,
다른
짜증나게.
신나. 노래 부를까? 우와, 카론도 깜짝.
가만히 남았어도 이 정도쯤은 바이올렛 브레이크 슬램! 아이씨, 짜증나게.
이게요.
승리를 기대하게 한방 먹였어.
외면의 예술을.
적들이 뭔가 기분이 좋아 보이는 것 같아. 카론 기분이
이제야 친해졌네요.
1타 2피 맞지? 카론 수담해줄게.
이제야 친해졌네요.
바이올렛 브레이크.
나쁘지 않군.
우와, 카론도 깜짝.
And there were three.
떠올랐어요. 그 소재 혈관의 두께. 나쁘지 않아요.
뭘
항상
잘못했는지 아는 것부터가
저희 영감을 일깨워
시작이 됐어.
주시는군요.
With this, the last of the ring's infiltrators have been eradicated. All of them? Kept glancing around to see if someone, but unfortunately no other ring members were sent. Right, but where the hell did they all coming from? Weren't they just the first wave? Had more of those sods legging it in from the back, like they've been lurking somewhere else? According to the track logs recorded by this valence device in Solder, they appear to have crossed over from another corridor. Another corridor? Where precisely does the designation of the room resembling a shopping mall, the one lifted with batches of toys on display? Your company, if I recall correctly, designated the corridor of the middle first, Father? Oh. I suggest we relocate there. Your assignment tasks here have been wrapped up. Oh, and before we set out, do you have any information to share in advance? We are planning to file a comprehensive encyclopedia cataloging the noble characteristics of good and all. Your cooperation will be most appreciated. Seemed to have an eye on the nails before long, however, she snapped out of it. Sure, I got stuff to tell you. Some parts were kind of fuzzy, not gonna lie, but I can recall about 20 places near clear enough. I mean, it was home for me and Papa, so. I got nothing. I once regarded that fucker's room as a home, and my memories of it are all fragments at best. Jabber gave a faint, restless stir. Perhaps it wanted to comfort Roshu in the way it could. Unaccompanied by its tremors, we began to move our work to the corridor of the middle. So there's doors in each. That's a lot of work.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지
School.
작품이죠. 비록 지금 제 작품
I'm sure this won't go wrong.
훌륭해. 설레네요.
Heck, they swiped everything that wasn't nailed down, huh? Fret not. I espy failure half of the articulated video game cartridges. I'm not talking about my toy box, okay? I tell them many of them anyways. The TV's gone, the couch too. Here said only a Trish's empty space was left where the television kit used to be. Those the LC reachers hauled them away. From the sound of it, they're going to set them up in their staff lounge. As for the leather and ornaments, they said they'd be selling them off. Yeah? Noah seemed to know something the moment she caught Kira's wistful look. The corners of her lips curled in a faint smile. She spoke with who knows, with a bit of cooperation, maybe they become more receptive to the idea of returning those items. Assuming much, I never said I want them back. Anyway, I'll tell you what I know, so come this way if you want in. These two doors here are made from paper and wood. They connect to S Corp. And the one reinforced with steel, this one leads to V Corp Backstreet Square. Having lived here and made frequent of those doors, Kara was clearly the right person to the job of identifying where each door Wayfair Company had access to explore. Directed by Kara and accompanied by Alan, we checked the doors one by one. Good work. All that seemed matched. Thank you for your cooperation. Still there was one back to our left. I know this isn't anything new, but I guess these factors are just too big in them portals too. You ain't doing anything shady like the warp trains either, is it? Yours is as simple as turning the knob and entering. Seems you that pace your business rival in no time. It's a bit hard pressed to agree with the too convenient sentiment when it comes to using backdoors and portals, but since your intent was to claim Wayfair's superiority over the current LeBecorp, I'll take it as a compliment. Did I say something wrong? Every technology comes at cost, Heathcliff. Aptly said. While there have been a workday relative free of casualties thanks to the information you have provided, you understand that Wayfair Company's primary service includes path buying, path security, and path maintenance. Each of these services is fraught with life-threatening dangers for our employees. Some never return after embarking on pathways journeys. Some are killed while battling monsters entities. Those exact natures haven't been converted yet, but appear in the liminal space between paths. It also costs a pretty penny to keep the path well secure. I'd say our operating cost is on a rather steep side, especially considering we were also trying to prevent our rivals from taking this corner of the market. Piggybacking in, think you've ever seen enter a door to a new location with his helmet off. It must be one of his precautions just in case. Maybe his rationale and selling lack of reaction hints to something seen too much of face much worse. Still, our work's gone considerably easier for this job thanks to the help from everyone here. Honestly, this partnership is working much better than I expected. Very well, let's take a look at the last door. It's the part through all the time. Breeze carrying an oddly familiar salty fuck hands. This one seems to think the Great Lakes area, it seems. Welcome to U-Corp's Great Stingray port ship. Stingray, huh? Why does that ring a bell? Hang on a minute. It's that place, isn't it? The port ship at the Solomon, the private saloon? Oh, he just chimed in with a shudder as though the sheer weight behind his words terrified him. That signifies then that we shall finally be able to audience the young Heathcliff and his hairdo most lustrous. Quit with the lustrous nonsense at last. Why encourage me now when you are so capital but lost my villain's arse back at the lake? Indeed. Unless it's true that your punishment brought upon our merry band hath severely outweighed the crime, when thou agreed on he thought that put the coupons to use would remedy thy heinousness? Bugger it. They even got anyone to spruce up for anyone. Sweet, can I use them? We were regulars at the Monsoon, said Pop. Pop would ask the mill for a favor, he would bring loads of coupons back. I wanted to give away a haircut, but every 10 days, you see, so I might even yap about it, all excited. Ready to launch it. Here for them became an absurd pause like a bike trip over her face. Fell as she lowered her gaze to scum bubble. Looking back, Papa did care for me, so why is it also that these guys went out of their way to get me out of there, even though they didn't know me so well? Why is it getting so complicated? Now this gave you an authentic BC? Thanks to BC. Bowl cut. Bro, listen, like I said, it's not how you shorten these things. For some reason, we also seemed gleeful to hear Kiria correcting her acronym. It was reminiscent of the South Satisfied like she's using these acronyms, especially during the early day of our bus journey. Back then, even since clear became reliable enough, the singers made less reason to voice their frustration with those acronyms, which in turn gave her fewer causes to snicker about. I'm not sure why, but something tells me she might be making her acronyms particularly incorrect on purpose. If your conjecture is correct, Executive Manager, she has one tasteless sense of humor. Well, I recall the toys and games he was into were pretty retro. Must have been annoying to play along at first, but the more I played along, I got more into it. Still corny and juvenile as shit, though. I know, ought to be that conflict to thee. Trifling, apocryphal they may be, yet we all compelled to peer behind words at the interest of the family. Yeah, I wanted to know what Papa was really into to really get what he was talking about. So, besides, I needed to know these things if I wanted to chat them up and talk about a mutual subject, so tough. You tell me about you all the time, usually. Not a day went by when he saying love like, you say you learned this in 2 days, or yo, this was saved, you know? Too bad I wasn't there here to tell you that his words were shit. I once thought of him the same as you do now, a good man, at least among the nurse fathers, caring enough to bring me up. But one day I realized he never understood things I really cared about, even if his life had depended. One day they says, pray tell what all the perception of that man. That I don't remember when and why, just that it happened. Wait, I might know this. Wasn't it something about what happened at school? Papa told me things started getting awkward between you and him ever since you quit school. Bullshit, I never went to school. I never even thought of wanting to go to school. And this must have been talk I was asking. No way, bro, I even saw a clip of it. What? Papa showed me a video where he was teaching me to use the doors. I even saw a baby of you going, I'm off to school, Dad, in the video, so I'm pretty dang sure. But I don't. As Caroline and Riffle, confidence from her in the little retort seemed to slip away. I can't blame her, so much I remember. I mean, really, it didn't sound like she was denying it, though. She seemed to mean she said she never went to school and never wanted to. Because if the family made her say that. The moment I will that scene ever sent past something flash. Very well, you say. I will consider you an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. There is a blah 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 subsidiary of the ring. Academy. You sure it was a school, not some other academy or something? Wait, like that's kind of makes sense, yeah. Must have been academy, not a school. Academy of Art. Ha. I heard his words that the priest is a puzzle verse. Then, after briefing this, she turned towards me with a astounded scoff and took a mild irritation. Clock. You deserve a smack. Ah, well, it might smacked me beside the head with her scabbard. What was that for? This memory sucks, Glock. I would have been just fine without it. But at least I can't remember the incident that changed my perspective on math, yes? Dad, how do I go to school? Schoolish? Well, I don't see how I use wish, let alone need to go to such instances. As far as here to buy the time techniques style of homecoming is allowing and trudging the nest formally education. But I saw him in a picture book. And I don't have any friends here. Oh, Ryan and his poisonous. But it is true that there are qualities that can be only owned to the group erudition that engenders competition. Very well, usually I will register you into an initiative that is not entirely similar from school. Oh. I intend to send you to the academy as part of my there's an academy of art subsidiary ring companionship with other talented children of approximately your age will nurse. Yes. The prescript approves. But Callisto, I'll tell you now that you might be making a mistake. And how are you certain of that? You elaborate if you can. Hand puppet of the prescripts, for whom every aspect of existence is articulated. What do you even know the choice of what is right and wrong? And went off. Perhaps a little more situational awareness will prevent what is to come. This I found me a rather decent academy. The artworks that used to scare me when I was alone weren't so bad when I was with the other kids. No, that's not quite it. It's more accurate to say I started to understand people's perspective on beauty. Of course I was. When all we ever did was non-long lectures about purple prose. All those while making pincushions out of people's bodies like it was nothing. Our lesson today will focus on corporeus techniques. Let's look at the diagram here. When the mannequin before you leave the blood vessels in the same pattern. I don't know where any of that kind of stuff is. Right, I don't get that point of Saga is trying to shape blood vessels in a color that drop in ink can do better with that in the book. I was more excited to learn about the cube. Taking any of this crap. Honestly, why is this wash not moving any part? It's just boring home. No, it's gory, but boring and shallow only because you guys are bad at it. What? Anyway, you met because your dad is a lame corpus. Oh, is he? No wonder her stuff is ow. I was taught that people who say bad things about the family deserve to get their butt kicked. The bad mouthing Blizzard wasn't actually what set me off. I didn't have any special reverence to the attached family, like, just that I was taught this dislike, that's all. Just one of those Jim's kids of the age have kids will be kids, and that's all. I'm home, Dad. Hey, babe, you're home. Oh man, I've been playing rough today. You must have done us all over. Got into a fight. A fight? Yeah, they kept saying dense things about classes stuff, so I smacked them. What about you? You didn't get hit anywhere, did you? Oh, my cheek. But it's okay. I punched them this many times. Where are you going? Oh yeah, just got some business to do. I'm going to guess he went to the school and killed everyone. No, it's family business. Ain't seen what so bad about taking care of your own. Well, I'm getting the feeling he butchered the academy or something. Huh. If only he had been a simple little modeling that started with ended right there with a pat on the head. What? Pop, I mean, the middle doesn't stop there. It never does. You're a member of family. That makes you get you written in the book. And he did what he did in the end. Huh? Ah, there you are. The test starting already? My doesn't know. Wonder who she takes after. It's like I killed the teacher, the students are here, I'm about to get rid of them too. That's it. But I got lost trying to find my way through the ringing bastard trees. You know how they are. Oh yeah, and there's so many sibling brats here. Well, as for their crimes, they slapped him by his face hard enough to leave a mark. That's an arm for you. As for the instructor, letting anyone agree that they did one sorry job of keeping these tykes under control. In that case, pursuant to Title 2, Section 52 of the Book of Execution by a Heading was clear you don't get much use for that on spoilers, eh? How do you like it, buddy? Papa's the best, ain't he? How dare he? Such senseless barbaric violence. Uncultured, civilized animal. Do not be discouraged, dear city. I doubt yet another academy worth of your talents is much more significant than precision. I assure you, even an intemperate berserk like him won't dare force his way into such a place if he did. Don't wanna. You see? I don't want to go to the academy. I don't want to go. I don't need friends anyway. For his posturing, nothing was ever important to me to held any significance to Mathis. He took away a lot from me just to feel good about himself. So I hoped he, like anyone else, would never find his way out of the things I held dear because I was afraid he would take them away like he did others. But he'd always catch on faster than he had the right to. Every contract he took away from the House of Spiders made me tremble in anxiety. Because I was worried about, I don't remember what, but I do know that I could never stop thinking about my room. So whatever occupied my room in my absence must have been the most precious thing to me. The skyboard, which was still fighting, soon be on the rail audibly. It's doing the thing again. You just pat the scabbard with a gentle reassuring hand. Scabbard once again, scabbard was once ire. The memory without attachment appeared to me almost as she was pacifying and kind. Taking that gesture, briefly cast a sullen yet faintly expectant gaze upon Russia's scabbard and the device. He must have been thinking about his past conversation with Catherine, but Catherine's system, like ours, was erased by the gun boat. So I doubt this device could do anything for Heathcliff at this point. Alright. From everything we know, Nursefighter seems to have been a really least awful parent figure in your childhood, yeah. Didn't know that Robo-Unk was such a radical guy. He went to the academy like you wanted and got angry on your behalf. Oh. Hazy memories, almost forgot to mention. 2 days ago, I still left the snowman by my pillow as a gift. It was made of heads. Heads. Yes, the cappy heads from the incident at the academy threaded together into a sculpture. That's terrible. Thinking back, it was one sorry excuse for Nart. He was sorely mistaken if he thought that some low-effort bullshit like that would make him feel better. You could have spared us the details. Well, with that covered, do you guys want to head back? Hang on. No, want to go to the latest treatment before heading? Shut it. There ain't it. Look there, those blokes walking out of the salon. Lava, haven't they found us? It would not be odd to find a field branch of the Ring's art movement in different districts of the city, especially at the Lava scale, however. Area 7 says the mask and the fact the group was immediately drawn that our group has been the other detectives that the same pack the ones regular incursions of the Host Spires. Pressing immediate commencement of lockdown sequence. Copy that. But why don't we... Holy shit, guys, stop. Well, what? Don't you know where you are? You're smack middle of the middle protected turf. Cause a scene and the bros and sisters of the middle will be here any second. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a problem. We're drawing the rings on one of the attention. We certainly don't want the middle coming after us in the house fire soon. And sounds like you've got a GI. Talk. Ever played whack-a-mole? Like, well, give yourselves a countdown. Just head through the door now and beat up whoever thinks it's a great idea to walk through the door. You put forward a sound strategy, Javan, as long as there's no higher ranking officer mounting them. It would be out to our Griffin. Well, let's do what Kira says. That was quick. Due to the newly emergent complications past the door, we have concluded that the location is the optimal place to intercept and engage infiltrators from me. This location, you say? Oh wait, the door leads to its own under syndicate or wings protection, doesn't it? Fair idea to fight here then. Happy to work with somebody quick on the up to. Long before the pals began rushing through the door. I didn't want to summon them while they were relaxing, but well, here we go. Yeah. Keep going.
카론, 기다리는 거 못해. 100초만 기다려.
Which one is he doing? Oh, though someone doesn't magic and remotely commit. Okay.
나쁘지 않고.
짜증나게.
늦으면 메피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
대성공이야. 카론 신나. 노래 부를까? 승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
가만히 남았어도 이 정도쯤은.
적들이 뭔가 기분이 좋아 보이는 것 같아. 카론 기분 나빠.
판단해줄게.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가
나쁘잖아요.
시작이 됐어.
필연적. 절대적.
밑그림은 완성입니다. 빠르게 치라도.
보여드려야겠군요. 외면의 예술을.
우와, 카론도 깜짝.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
뼈로 틀을 잡고 저의 살로 채운 8번의 두께. 나쁘지 않아요.
정해진 운명이라네. 결정.
Yep, yay, you got the thing.
우와,
지령에게 불확실한
카론도
것은
영감.
썰어버려도 상관없지.
이제야 친해졌네요. 타입이 맞지? 저희 영감을
The flash is over.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 만인의 신금
Miseries, huh?
하더라도 여전히 반지에
And that about wraps up the middle corridors. Thanks to you folks, we managed to cut the door catalog down by 8%. Really appreciate everyone who went the extra mile to check each and every door, too. Made my life a whole lot easier. It's all thanks to the manager's excellent strategy. Next up, the thumbs corridor. But we actually found a lot of intel lying around here, so we just need you to check some of the doors in its basement. Intel? The manager interested in the former intel? In the thumbs corridor, we came across a bunch of players detailing comings and goings of the Thumbs members and orders they were carrying. Whoever wrote the logs has been diligently keeping them updated. The last entry was really not so long ago. While the contents of the notes weren't all that interesting, they helped get an idea of where each door leads to. Let's see a shitty scrap of papers. She's been keeping up with the useless shit the whole time, huh? Useless shit. Remnants of her desperate search for a thread to cling to. You found one of her backup ticket hoards. I've marked any doors that need work with a drone. That should be about 3 or 4 of them. Well, you guys do that. I got some leftovers work to take care of here, so I've been noticing them throughout his interactions, but whenever something irrelevant was searched, I don't seem to have a way of unhearing and moving right past it, so he didn't have to register what was said. Recalling our conversation with Cicera back at P-Corp, that deeply uncurious the difference might be just one of the essential personalities with the corporate to the employees. Understood, we'll explore the areas past the marked doors and return here. Thanks a ton. Well then. When I return to where the other Wayfarer company employees were huddled around, we decided to follow the corridors. Yeah, there's someone there. One more ring, maybe? Going by their cells, they're unlikely to be members of the ring. Come on, eh? Get out of my way so I can see. It's the detective. Some stubby guy I don't know and an annoying airy dude. Sounds like Moses, Gregor, and Honolulu, respectively. Yep, the trio's conversation grew clearer the closer approach. Okay, fella, you bumped your head earlier? Fine, that's a fiddle. It was just minor fault. This is the 3rd time it's occurred. We have to discuss the issue with the manager once this consultation's over. Thinking seeing a bump on the side of head. You know what to do, right? If at any moment you see signs of, don't worry, Gregor. You made it through the explanation in the footage both. You were going to be fine again, I believe in you. Look at you now. We're right where it happened, but your arm is stable, see? Ironically, fear tends to grow most unmitigated when it is distant and unseen. I understand that you might be worried about, but I don't see even the slightest portents of it. So don't hesitate to share the unfiltered thoughts that arise while you're in here. I know what I saw in the footage, but I'm still having a hard time believing it, or I don't know. Maybe I'm just avoiding the truth when it's staring me right in the face. In my case, is nothing like Don Quixote. She just needs to keep her shoes on, and it's all good, and Danny for hers, and things don't work that way for me. Whatever they talk about seems hella deep. You sure about even? What's always Geezer cagey about himself? Maybe now's our chance to learn more about him. He's sharing such an I-ass about himself for once. Why walk away? Unclear gives a nonsensical interpretation of Reese's acting. Kira rolls her eye, however. Between the bickering, Sarah's got all stand silence and the inscrutable look over her face, just listening to exchange between Melissa Gregor like a one possessed. Okay, let's keep listening. Melissa's right. She was right all along. The war isn't over. It never was. And it can't ever be over as long as the fucking joke is it stays attached to my arm. Barbed words. Now let's revisit the question you couldn't answer all the footage and hopefully it'll become easier to answer now. You've been using this arm to fight just fine so far. Now, I don't mind fighting hostiles or enemies, but it's not the kind of person worried about people trying to kill me. But killing my comrades, that's the changes thing, doesn't it? I can't even control it. There's nothing I do, even brace for it. Let's stop it like some kind of time bomb counting down to the least disease. You never know when the symptoms will set off. Even if the Heathcliff, who's the first to step up when people began to spiral into self-hatred, stood in conflicted silence, his lips drawing a hard line. Besides, Gregor wasn't wrong in that. At present, there wasn't any way to stop his transformation should it occur again. We've got a good chunk of the journey left, and eventually we'll have to. No matter what lurks in the past of us sinners, even if they've killed 100,000 to 10,000, will you still embrace them? We'll eventually have to confront an even darker, bleaker truth of the war. But I really trust Gregor not to crumble under inevitable pressure. See, you're afraid you'll end up hurting others. Well, at first I thought I couldn't give a hoot whether I actually murdered some of you. It's a bit sad to hear that. Like, yeah. You know how it is, Hung. We, the best team, didn't exactly get off a rocking good start. But through our journey, I began to think of you as my comrades, and I was okay with that because I had too much faith in my own weakness. When I realized I'd grown so weak that I couldn't even take down some backstreet thugs with this arm, I was relieved. Imagine that, the same arm, my arm, a weapon that stabbed the heart of countless people during the smoke war. I'll be honest, when one said fella said that I was an exception, the thought alone made me hope. Exception. A potential to be harmless, weaker than a non-combatant, like something that made me hope. Life like that didn't sound so bad. Well, no. How that went, though, didn't we? Blew up in the worst possible way. After that, I couldn't just bring myself to fight again, because I no longer know when this fear would eat me up again, because I'm constantly afraid that this damn gift manifesting again. The same fear you carried all this time. How did you endure it before? Badly, barely, holding on to the idea that living's gotta live on and nothing else. Now it even brings me back years. The memories are so clear that all happened yesterday. Best you kick me off the bus before pushes comes to. That can't be the answer, Gregor. You can walk away, but the danger of our journey won't leave with you. Dante and the rest of us will be facing the endless repeat of peril. That's not like leaving the bus will bring peace to your heart. Our deaths can be reversed should an incident occur, even if that comes to the cost of Dante's suffering. Same can't be said for most people in the city. Now, that is something I never expected to hear from you. Especially you're right. If we're saying this through then any kind, then this would be the place to do so. Not many places in the city that has some worth to them like this one does. Boy, this consultation thing seems pretty embarrassing. I mean, it's not like I was forced to go through something as traumatizing as yours, honey. Truth be told, I'm not a special case. Everyone who participated in the war must have gone through more or less the same experience. Miss Moses, Otis, and even Valencia, the piece of work. We can't attach a number to our misfortunes if there's something to be measured. When I fled from my past, I tried my hardest to avert my eyes from it, but you're not like me. Every step that distanced you from the past, you to a pause and spare look toward the path you had walked. All those years I've let slip by, all those slip you are dotted in fathoms of suffering that are both ineffable and beyond measure. Different experiences, different pain. Still, if there's one thing common to everyone, it's the trauma it leaves after effects that linger for a long time. What's yours? I dislike loud noise and the people who talk too much. They sound too much like the cacophony of war, like scream comrades who resent me even necessarily tying in the wounds they left in my heart bled me dry. I thought you were fond of Miss Ezra, Miss. I've talked too much. It's like, she doesn't like it. That aside, haven't you heard your fill? Might as well come out of the corner you're hiding. Oh man, we knew we'd been eavesdropping the whole time. I was actually waiting for this right guy to come out and say a few words, but I couldn't find the appropriate moment to. Well, I wouldn't have had to share this with manager, but for the rest of you fellas or sooner. So Sooner or later, so I really don't mind, but what's she doing here? Okay. Temporary ally? No, temporary accompaniment. Don't be an asshole. I'm working my ass off to help you guys. Ooh. Pleased to make your acquaintance. You're right on time. I've been working on a theory, but I don't have all the clues to be absolute. A word from someone in the know may immensely improve my confidence in the theory. Kara, do you know which door the thumb nurse father was attached to? Huh? No, duh. That was supposed to be. Did you guys all see her? You think I'd chat up a scary lady like that? Dude, she was being the Everlong Shadow. Lucy every time I saw them together. Oh yeah, she went down fighting you guys in the end, huh? So, yeah, said stuff about her generosity and all that and fought till he died. Damn, that's unexpected. Being real for a second, I thought he was totally gonna swap sides. Really? That lad? Why is that? You know, the vibes. You know, you guys don't know because you haven't seen him long with that scary lady always leaning over. What's up? You gonna stab her in the spine? Look, I thought you might be training because, like, you're not improving as much as you should from all the grind. Let me show you what I learned about swinging swords from this comic book. That is not how my master has instructed me. The textbook cannot be permitted to even single deviation if it is meant to repay the debt of the owner. Why are you so obsessed with all the crap anyway? You don't even like that old lady. But you're not so different from me in that regard, are you? Bro, the heck are you talking about? Seriously, I thought we were going to crash and burn before she even came home. That's what this textbook and I had in common. If this one is now, let me direct the question to you, Senator Ryoshu. Hopefully that touches upon one of the more intact memories. Do you know which of these doors the mill particularly attached to, or the doors she used to when asked me? Fine, yes, I do remember. Do even need clocks help to piece it back together? It's that one. The one with the mouthpieces hanging. Holy shit, I almost said out there. Son of a bitch, a fucking fly. Where did those two flies even drag those gross pests from? Mom, are you okay? Do I look okay to you? Take it. No, not really. I'm fine. You know I don't break easily. You should have been there to see me tear the head off the G-Corp Bourbon ticket. Come on, your leg's big a lot. Here. Comes another mission. Boy, they can't really do shit without me. So much for a break. What the fuck is this? Bandages for you. Does this get serious? You've got truckloads of expensive treatment on the ready to patch me up the moment I get back to it. Well, okay, never mind that. Hey, this works. Sit tight. And don't start any trouble. I'll teach you some sort of techniques once I'm back. It's been for years in the smoke war. Yeah, fighting in the war took a lot out of her and left her exhausted. But she marched to every battle that's with a smile, stopped drinking, stopped beating me too. Like a blissful lady who forgot she was still neck deep in an unstable pit called the House of Spiders. Well, the peace didn't last. Sometime after war, there's someone she called the conciliars. The son visited the House of Spiders as tutor. That's when she went right back to drinking herself into a shit-faced stupor day after day. The beatings returned and so did the edge of her profanities. It was pathetic. Hold on. Why though? Sure, I was on the losing side, but wasn't this on the winning side? You war hero? Ever heard of the regulation that smoke war precisions for moving into I-Corp and K-Corp nests? The common thread between these post-war rules is that it makes their lives of veterans difficult. Dubious rules that don't discriminate between winners and losers. I'd say there must have been things going on behind the scenes there too. But doesn't that mean that Beck will drop us in the trench they dug during the war? Yes, a Gregor will be the one to open it. Wait, me? Yes. Others can do it for you, but what would be the point? You sure you don't want to end up getting more nightmares? I don't see how, but anyway. We do not have any means to treat whatever it is that slumbers within his arm. However, I would surmise that the underlying cause of the son's depression was the arm itself. Then what? It's trauma. His arm took control after his psyche was crushed by the weight of the unspeakable memories coming back to haunt him. It's not because the arm went berserk that he started living his painful past. It's the other way around, isn't that so? If you can come to understand what the war is really over, that the other saying, no matter how closely you echo the past, is not necessarily aimed at you, then you may be able to loosen your grip on the fear and anxiety that your arm could metamorphose at any moment. While her suggestion may seem blunt, it is one of the basic treatment principles of M-Corp psychotherapy centers. Fine, then guess I'll open it. Ricker walked up there, grabbed the hand paws, take a deep and with one arm down, they opened it. Why are you running? You should be taking the lead in the front lines of the G-Card banner held high. I don't want to die. It's nice to have a place to go back to. Alright, happy 15th birthday. But you can't possibly have the cheek to call me cruel. G-Card pests were far more messed up than I was, ripping people apart, cannibalizing them. You were nothing but a swarm of effed up monsters. I'd woken up from a dream. But I was still... Wonder where the door goes to. I think it would be a bar. Oh, he has to be in this one. I don't know, do I want to leave it here though?
뒷골목 밤거리.
I think I will leave it here for now. Probably come back to this on Saturday. So, thanks for coming. I'll be on tomorrow with Matsu and Soul Black, and I'll probably come back to this on Saturday. Try and finish it up. How far are we? Well, I'm over a third of the way through, so we're almost there. Actually, what can I... I'll save that stuff for now. Alright.
뒷골목 밤거리에
So, have a good day or night wherever you are, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.